Hi, I want to share a quick sketching tip with you today, and this can help you when you're afraid of getting started in a new sketchbook, or if you want to experiment a little bit more, or if you just want to save some money on supplies. And this is trying to make your own sketchbooks. So ever since I started my sketchbook practice again a few years ago, I'm making my own sketchbooks, and this is what they look like. So I use really easy techniques that get quite good results, I find. And I'm not as precious with my sketchbooks anymore. You know, these are for trying out things. I just throw them in my bag and they get a little bit grubby after a while, but this is just what I like about this. So I'm not as precious as with a store-bought sketchbook, and I don't worry as much. Sketching should be for fun, for testing techniques, for trying new things, for experimentation. And many people expect perfect drawings on every page, and that can build up a lot of pressure. And I completely lost the fear of my sketchbook when I started to look at it as a tool and as a safe space that's meant to be experimented in. And I actually don't like every page in my sketchbook. So there are a few things, for example, here I experimented with colored paper. And so this looks quite nice. But then there are the ones that I don't like for example, these pages. Well, this doesn't say much, but it's good that I have it in there because I experimented and tried out a new technique. And so this can actually bring you forward as an artist. So, as I said, I completely lost the fear of my sketchbook when I started to look at it more as a tool and not as an art project. And so this is a safe space for me that I can experiment in. And yeah, what helped me a lot with seeing my sketchbook as this safe space is making my own sketchbooks. And I just use really simple bookbinding techniques. This is really nothing special. You can see they tend to fall apart after a while, but this really doesn't matter. These sketchbooks can be customized with whatever paper you need. You can vary the binding technique, you can vary the cover. Lately I'm enjoying these sort of soft covers. So your sketchbook can also be in this landscape format, and that allows for some pretty nice techniques you can try out. And I also have a smaller one here. So I use that one for painting and for studies. So as you can see, lots of different things that I try here. So I have different sketchbooks for different purposes, one for nature sketching, one for these landscape studies, and then I also keep one around for color mixes. And so this is great as a reference that I can look back in later to see how I made certain color mixes or to experiment with certain color schemes. So, and sometimes I just make these swatches with different kind of pigments. So this is very enjoyable. And all my sketchbooks look a little bit different. I can experiment with formats and layouts and paper without spending a lot of time in art supply stores or online. So if you're interested in learning how to make your own sketchbook, I have already shared a free tutorial here on YouTube where I show how I bind this kind of hardcover sketchbook. I used to make all my sketchbooks this way, so in the beginning they all looked the same, and this technique has served me very well, so it's really quite adaptable. You can even turn the page around if you just want to hold it in your hand like that and then sketch on location, and it has this sturdy hardcover. Another nice thing about this is you can add a little envelope on the last side where you can put stuff in that you want to collect. So this is a very simple but very adaptable technique. And since then, I've learned a few new tricks and different ways to bind my sketchbooks. For example, I already showed you the soft cover. So I now sometimes make these soft cover sketchbooks and I really enjoy them. And then there's another thing that I learned are these smaller Leporello books, which are really nice. They just fold apart like this. And then you can turn them to the other side and then continue. So this was just for testing purposes It's not a really great sketchbook, but it's fun. It's a new technique, and it's actually a technique that can give you a new sketchbook in under 15 minutes because you don't need to do a lot of sewing and binding. So this is made entirely without sewing. If you want to learn how to make a sketchbook with these techniques, then I have a video series, a small class about this, where I demonstrate how to bind these different sketchbooks with easy tools that you probably have at home and really simple techniques. So feel free to check out the class. You can find it in the link below, and it also has pay what you want pricing, so it's really affordable too. And all in all, I'm massively enjoying making my own sketchbooks. I can use whatever paper I want. For example, for this for my landscape studies, I'm using cotton paper, and this is really just a joy to paint on with this. And I can also save a lot of money, especially for cotton paper, which is really more expensive, but you practically don't find a lot of sketchbooks with cotton paper in them. They usually have this kind of wood pulp paper, which is fine for sketching, but sometimes you want maybe something a little bit more diverse. So, and also what I showed you here, you can include toned paper in your sketchbook. That's also very interesting to try this out. And I really like the feeling of being less intimidated of starting my sketchbook because I made it myself. So what I like to do after I finish making a new sketchbook is I immediately make a mark in it so that it's used, and I add my name and my email in case I lose it. And if it's a nature journal like this, then the first page is filled with these small landscapes, these weather sketches that are great for warming up. And I like to sketch the weather because there's always something to observe. And I find that this way I can jumpstart into the sketchbook immediately without having to think a lot about what kind of great art should be in it and what the first page should look like, because it's really important. And no, it's not. It's just a tool. It's just for having fun, for getting started with your art making. So that's my quick tip for today. In any case, basic bookbinding is a great skill to learn, and I hope you'll give it a try. For me, it's worked out great, and I really enjoy doing this and making these sketchbooks and then filling them with my artwork. I hope you found this quick tip useful, and if you liked the video, feel free to give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you very soon, and until then, happy sketching.